Hi everybody, this is Saad. Just returned from a incredibly jam-packed trip to Europe, and so I thought I would share some of my thoughts and remarks and comments from the trip. First, I was accompanied, by the way, by my wife, so that was really nice. The first leg of our 8-day trip was to Reykjavik, Iceland. It was a trip that was organized by a phenomenal host with whom we've become good friends with him and his fiance. His name is Guli Jonsson. He invited me to give a talk on the parasitic mind and suicidal empathy at Harpa, which is this beautiful venue right on the waterfront in Reykjavik. There were some security concerns, and so it was all taken care of by my host. I had all these strapping young Icelandic guys making sure that nothing untoward happened to Dr. Goodlooks. The event was wonderful, big turnout, sold out, had a great time. I did notice that there were several places where the people from Reykjavik apparently made it clear that they support the Gazans against the nasty Zionist occupiers. There was a whole mural with all kinds of stuff. But even I went into a restaurant where there were murals that were apparently uh, painted by a famous Icelandic artist, recounting sort of the, feminist movements in Iceland. So it's supposed to be a historical thing, but each of those paintings had Palestinian iconography, whether it be the Palestinian flag or the keffiyeh. And so I wasn't aware that the history of Icelandic feminism went right through the Gazan uh, homeland. But that shows you what happens to a mind that is parasitized. So there was a lot of that everywhere, free Gaza, Gaza, free Palestine, and so on and so forth. But otherwise, the trip was fantastic. We went to the Blue Lagoon, the Sky Lagoon, had wonderful uh, dinner event. I mean, it was really all wonderful. After uh, Reykjavik, we then flew to London, and on the first day in London, um, I was invited to the House of Lords by a lord in the House of Lords. We spent 3 hours with him and his wife. Went to lunch in the House of Lords section. But as we made our way to go to the entrance of the House of Lords, there were thousands and thousands of protesters, you know, global intifada, free Palestine, from the river to the sea, and so on. So you might imagine I'm trying to make my way to the House of Lords where when there are, thousands of people with keffiyeh. So it was very, very heartwarming to see that the noble people of London are rightfully supporting the Gazans against the those genocidal Jews. So that was really nice, and I had to have police escort to enter the House of Lords in Britain. So that was really nice. Then I had an event uh, that evening in London with uh, Batya Argon. I can't remember the. Hold on, let me just look for the exact name. I never. Oh, Batya Angar Sargon, and then Matt Goodwin and Eric Kaufman, who is a professor at University of Buckingham, which I'll talk about in a second. He organized that event. Great event, great turnout. I gave a lecture there, then fielded some questions and so on. And then from London, we drove to Buckingham, which is about an hour and something away from London, at the University of Buckingham, where there was a 3-day conference, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning, I think, till about around noon, organized by Eric Kaufman at the University of Buckingham. He founded the Center for Heterodox Social Science, and the conference was about, heterodox social science. And so I spoke at that conference, and then had a chance to meet the Vice Chancellor, James Tooley, lovely guy, very affable, very warm. It was great to meet him. And the University of Buckingham is a small university, but they really are trying to set up sort of a hub where heterodox thinkers, could have a place where they could interact. So they're trying to create a place where you could sort of do anti woke social science, study anti woke issues. All of this organized and spearheaded by Professor Eric Kaufman, who's just absolutely lovely guy. I had a chance to meet all sorts of other people who helped. Joseph Robertson, Charlie Downs. I'm going off the top of my mind their names. I hope I'm not getting any names wrong. Then had a chance to meet all sorts of new people who came up to me at the conference. Kevin, I think it's McCaffrey. Let me make sure that I don't misstate his name. Where is he? Hold on a second. Yeah, Kevin McCaffrey, who is the editor of Theory and Society. We had a very long discussion. He is trying to incorporate Darwinian theory within sociology, and so we had a very, very interesting conversation. All kinds of other people that I met that were just lovely. Truly, it was just a wonderful experience to be able to immerse yourself within a gathering of like-minded people where you're not going to be ostracized from the cool kids table because you said something nice about Trump, or you actually believe that men don't menstruate and so on. So the amount of love and support and gratitude that I received was absolutely invigorating. And so that's it. Began with Reykjavik, went on to London, went on to Buckingham. Oh, and then the last day prior to returning yesterday to Montreal, we made our way to Oxford. How could I forget this? Visited Oxford University and met up with Richard Dawkins at his home. This was facilitated by the incredible, one of the absolute loveliest and sharpest guys you can ever hope to interact with, Michael Shermer, who was filming a documentary for his forthcoming book, Truth. And he actually filmed me in this beautiful, austere church for the book. He asked a few people to be in the documentary, Richard Dawkins, David Deutsch, myself. And so I filmed part of a documentary for Michael Shermer in Buckingham, and also accepted to do an interview with Spiked magazine. But anyways, so we made our way to Oxford, hung out with Richard Dawkins, and also Michael Shermer's assistant, Alex, who's another absolutely lovely guy. Then after Richard Dawkins, we made our way to a park because Michael was going to film David Deutsch. Now, David Deutsch and I have become very friendly. He's been on my show a few times. One of the absolute sharpest guys that you could ever hope to talk to, and just a lovely, pure human being. So we finally met in person, even though we had, he'd been on my show a few times. And because it was raining and we were going to film outside, Michael and the filmmaker, the gentleman who's taking care of the filming, Alex, decided that they couldn't, set up the equipment to film. So what we ended up instead doing, we just stood there at the park for maybe 2+ hours. We, meaning David Deutsch, Michael Shermer, and myself, just chatting. And Alex would walk around with the cell phone and filmed the entire conversation, which was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, very, very quickly we just got into really, really deep and profound and meaningful issues, and just went at it. It was absolutely beautiful. So my understanding is that they will be releasing both probably the entirety of our conversation, but also many different clips, and you really don't want to miss it. So met Richard Dawkins, met David Deutsch, went to Oxford, met the Vice Chancellor of University of Buckingham, visited University of Buckingham, went to the House of Lords, gave a talk at London, gave a talk at University of Buckingham, gave a talk in Iceland. So it was absolutely amazing. I had to cancel my appearance at this big festival in Wales just because it just didn't work out in terms of scheduling. Tomorrow I head off for three more engagements in the United States, and then back to Montreal, buckle down, and try to get some serious headway with uh, suicidal empathy. So there you have it, folks. A lot of great stuff happening. I hope to meet some of you at some future event. Thank you for all the love and support. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers, everybody.